It's 5 o'clock on a Wednesday and it's time for...
A Craig and Ryland Magic Review Show.
And not just any Craig and Ryland Magic Review Show. This is the Christmas edition. Yeah, so he's got a candy cane. Now, obviously, we're filming this way before Christmas. This is actually being filmed kind of right at the start of Christmas on the 3rd of December. But this is going to be going out on 2 days after Christmas. So by the time they see this, you'll have had Christmas presents.
My Lego.
You would have had Lego. Well, you're asking Santa for Lego, aren't you? So we'll see how things go.
Hopefully I'm on a good list.
Hopefully you're on a good list. Yeah, definitely.
I've been good.
Debatable. But we hope you have an amazing Christmas. We hope you've had lots of mince pies and lots of fun.
Oh, mince pie!
Mince pies, dude, yeah. Anyway, what we thought we'd do, as this is the Christmas special, is we would do a Tenyo Magic review show special.
I just thought why it could be Tenyo.
Why?
Because Tenyo are known for like doing their tricks as like little toys.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah, with Christmas, kids get toys.
Yeah.
Tenyo Magic is basically
but
toys.
Christmas isn't all about getting gifts.
What's
it's about sharing and being kind.
Sorry, yeah, you're right.
Daddy.
Yeah, you are right, absolutely. Maybe you need to start sharing with your sister more then. Anyway. Nah. Anyway, so yeah, this is a Christmas special. We've had a lot of people ask us to review the Tenyo Magic range. So we've been playing around with them. We've taken them out. We've performed them. And we're going to let you know what we think.
I'm trying to read what the tricks are, but
it's all
it's Japanese.
I think it's Japanese, yeah. It doesn't matter. We're still going to review these for you. So here it is. Merry Christmas from Magic TV. This is the 2023 Christmas review show special looking at Tenyo Magic. So if you don't know, every year Tenyo bring out 4 new tricks, and these are the 4 that they've brought out in 2023, although it's part of their 2024 range, go figure. And what this one here is kind of an interesting trick. It reminded you and I of a crystal casket. Yeah, now if you don't do illusions like we do, a crystal casket is kind of a big see-through box, and you spin it round, you put a cloth on it, you pull the cloth away, and there's somebody sitting there. Normally in the show, it's you. And then you can also make somebody disappear, their hands sticking out the side. And then boom, you've gone. Yeah, and then you come back again. So that's what a crystal casket is. And this is like a close-up version of a crystal casket because you show the table, you put a see-through box on top. So that's kind of like the casket. You stop it from opening by putting an elastic band around. That's kind of like locking the casket like we do. And then you put a cover on top of it, a little bit like we do again with the cloth. And when you take the cover away, there's a coin there. So you did this. Me. That's you. You are the coin. Now, Ryland did this on his Instagram, and so...
And I actually did the crystal casket
presentation. Yeah, you did.
Was it yesterday?
Yeah, 2 days ago you actually did the crystal casket.
On
Stage.
Actually do it on stage.
Yeah, on stage at RAF Whitton, which you smashed. But let's have a look at a performance of... Thank you. I was just watching you. You did most of the show. Let's have a look at a performance of Ryland performing this first Tenyo Magic trick. Not too sure what it's called. We'll have a look at this and then we'll give it a review. That was a performance that you did on social media, and that got really good reactions. It's a great trick for social media because you can see it right up close. You can see it. It looks impossible. There's nothing in your hands, and yet you pull that cover away, and that coin has just appeared from nowhere.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, Tenyo. Here's the thing about Tenyo. Ryland said it correctly earlier on. Tenyo are like toys, really. They really are. Tenyo magic.
Kind of like why we did it at Christmas.
Yeah, it is. I mean, here's the question, right? It is a little bit of a
It's
toy.
like getting an illusion for Christmas.
Would you do this in a gig?
Yeah.
Would you?
I'll do it for closer.
Would you?
Mm-hmm.
I suppose what it's got going for, because here's the thing. I'll tell you what it's got going for it. You could do it before an illusion show and say, hey, later on I'm going to do this trick. Let me show you a close-up version of it. I mean, that would be really cool.
Oh, that would be cool. That would be cool.
But here's the thing. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's just an appearance of a coin. There's a million ways you can make a coin appear. I could use the whole mask. I can do...
the crystal casket, which makes it special.
It makes it special. Look, when I first learnt this, because I learnt it before you, and then I kind of gave you the instructions, because I was really struggling to make it work. I was like...
I did it straight away, Daddy.
Yeah, so is it difficult to learn? Because I actually found it quite difficult to pick up. When I was like putting the cloth down, or the little yellow cover, the coin wasn't appearing for me. And then I was like,
you just gotta squeeze.
I was like, oh, right, I don't think this is working properly. I don't think this is going to work. And then you just came in and you just bossed it immediately, and it was very frustrating. From an angles point of view, it's completely angle proof, because obviously the cover covers everything, unless they look straight down into it. Yeah, and it is, you're left with a real 10p. So because you're left with a real 10p, it means that you could go into or any variation, like a quarter or a 500 yen or something like that. Because you're left with a real coin at the end, you could go into any other coin routine that you wanted to. You couldn't really use a sign coin because it has to be preloaded into a secret compartment before the trick starts. So unless you were like wanting to have this in a little case off to one side, and you make the coin, you borrow a coin and you get somebody to hold onto it or something and switch it and then load that one in. Unless you go down that route, you can't really use a signed coin. But I mean, if you're looking to make a big feature out of making a coin appear, this is probably a great way to do it. I wouldn't do this. This is kind of like too toy for me. And there are certain Tenyo tricks that I will do, absolutely 100%. This is not one of them. This kind of comes across for me as a little bit too plasticky, a little bit too much of a toy. I mean, for you, when you do close up, that's perfect because you're a kid. Yeah. It would make sense for a kid to use a toy, right? It is very surprising when the coin appears. I mean, nobody's going to see how it works. The table can't be examined, but I don't think they'd want to. I think they'd probably be looking at the coin.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Have you got anything to add to this?
It's good.
It's good. You like it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it 79%. I like it. I think it's just like most of Tenyo's stuff. It's a very clever method. It's just not a method that I think that I would use. I don't think I'd do this. I've got a million ways to make coins appear. I'm not going to need to use this. You've got a million ways to make coins appear, but you do want to do this. It's getting 79% from me. If you want a really fun little trick, I think this would be great if you were doing walk around as a kid's entertainer and you were booked to do walk around magic. I think there's a lot of places where this would work really well. It's just not for me. 79%. What about you? You're thinking? On the first day of Christmas.
Thinking.
Sorry. Take your time. I'll just sit here in silence, shall I? Michael, if we can have some tumbleweed blowing across the screen right now, that would be great.
95.
Sorry?
95.
95. You got there eventually. 95% from Ryland. 79% from me. It is what it is. If you like the performance, it's also great for social media. Not very expensive. So if you want to do something cool for social media that's going to get you some views, this is a really good one to do.
And it's mine.
And it's yours. Well, all the Tenyo stuff is yours. But we're going to go into the next one now. Let's have a look at the next Tenyo trick.
Yeah.
So next up, we have, I don't know what to call this, discovering animals. So this is kind of like a mind-reading thing. And Tenyo aren't known for their mind-reading tricks. But this is a mind-reading thing. It's basically a book. Now, the book is written in Japanese, although the animals are written in English as well. So although it's written in, basically it looks like a book that you would get if you went and visited a zoo or you're into sort of animals or something. And the idea is that there's tons of pages. On each page there are animals. There's like 2 or 3 pictures of animals on each page. So there's like dozens and dozens of animals in here. And the concept is you give them the book. They open the book to any page. You tell them to think through and look at the different animals that are on there. You ask them to send the information over to you. And then with no fishing whatsoever, you're able to tell them exactly what animal they thought of or which animals they thought of on their page, which is really strong. Now, we'll talk about the method in a minute. We'll talk about the pros and cons, because there are pros and there are cons. We'll talk about those. But first of all, let's have a look at a performance. So we went out for a Christmas dinner with your family and my family a couple of days ago, and you got a chance to perform this to Thea when you were in the restaurant, didn't you?
Yeah.
So this is a performance to Thea of this particular trick. Have a look at it, because it does come across very clean. Have a look at it, and when you've looked at it, we'll talk about the pros and cons.
Okay, so I've got my sister Thea. I got this book in Japan. Now, as you can see, it's full of, well, I can show you this way. You can see it's full of all different animals. Like this, you can see that they're all different, and if you go this way, you can see that they're all different, yeah? So Thea, what you're going to do is you're going to open to any page and look at, just open to any page and have a look at it.
Let's go for
That page.
Now, are you sure so I can't see you?
Yep.
Yeah? Now, what I want you to do is I want you to put your hand on the first animal.
Yep.
Yeah? Okay, got it? And then put your hand on the second animal.
Yep.
Yeah? Is there a third?
No.
No. Okay, so there's 2 animals. The animals on the page, there's a gorilla
Yeah.
and a camel.
Yeah.
Yeah, a gorilla and a camel.
Now, you really like this, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, you really like this. And there is a lot to like about this. Now, let me tell you what's good and what's not so good. So, at least in my opinion, you can tell me differently. So, first of all, it's a bit weird that it's written predominantly in Japanese. You know, it's kind of like, if you're planning on doing it in a show or as part of an everyday carry, you kind of have to justify that it's in Japanese. Now, you could say, I've just come back from Japan. Now, you wouldn't probably believe that if you said it, although you maybe. Does Japan have a Japan's Got Talent? I don't know.
I think it does,
Oh,
actually.
does it? Is that one you wanted to do?
Yeah, it is, actually.
Oh, is it? Okay, there we go. So, it's plausible with you.
I got 3
But-
left that I want to do.
You got 3 left that you want. God help me. Wonderful, more stress. But yeah, but you need to justify it somehow. So you could say your nan's come back from. What? Your nan's just come back from Japan and bought you a gift or something.
Really? What is it?
It's this book.
Oh.
Not much of a gift. But you need to justify the thing somehow. That's something to take into consideration if you're living outside of Japan. The other thing to consider is, and here's a little secret that Ryland never tells anybody. Ryland has got a phenomenal memory. He can literally, if there's a trick where you've got to memorize something, he can memorize it in about, 10, maybe 15 minutes. Doesn't matter what it is. It's why he does Memdeck. It's why he's so fast at the Rubik's Cube. He can memorize all the algorithms. I've never met anybody with his memory as good as Ryland. The reason I'm telling you that is because when Ryland did that performance, how long did you spend memorizing all of the, because there's like 20 pages. We'll talk about this in a minute, but there's like maybe 15, 18 possible outcomes, and there's 2 or 3 animals per outcome. I mean, there's a lot of different outcomes, and you memorise that whole thing. How long did it take you?
A couple of minutes.
Oh, it must have took longer than a couple of minutes to memorise that whole thing.
Oh, the whole thing. I just made
The list. Now, how long did you?
I just thought you meant one of them.
No, how long did you memorise the whole list?
20.
20 minutes. So the performance that you saw Ryland do, he just memorised the whole list, and but that's not how the instructions tell you to do it. So the instructions, you get a sticker, and it suggests that you have a book with you, and in the front page of the book you put this sticker, and that will act as a crib. or they give you other stickers that you can put on the pens that you're using to write on the pad. Either way, but you have to go through one of those two methods unless you're planning on memorising the crib. Now, this is not a binary system or anything like this. This is unlike anything I've ever seen before. The method is new as far as I'm aware and very, very different. They can literally open up to any page. They can literally pick any animal. They can send it to you. Then they can send you another one. If there's a third one, they can send you the other one. And then at that point, as long as you've either memorised the list or as long as you have access to the crib, either on the pen or on a pad that you're writing on to try and get the information, you can immediately tell them the animals that they're thinking of. It's that direct. It's that powerful. So you either memorise the crib or you have a couple of different options in terms of cribs. And it is actually really clever, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
it is actually really clever because in the action of just thinking of the animal and just putting their hand on it, and the presentation is, hey, you know, I'm going to show you a palm mentalism. I'm going to try and I want you to touch the animal. Now touch my hand. Oh, I think I've got it. You know, just in that action, you've got all the information that you need, which is really smart, actually. Again, this is another one that I wouldn't do. Just because I think...
I don't know if I'd do this one either.
Just because I think it's a bit weird pulling out a book that's written all in Japanese. Also, if I'm going to tell somebody the animal they're thinking of, there's a million ways that I would do it that are slightly more direct than this. For example, digital force bag is one such example. I just think this is, although it's a very clever method, don't get me wrong, and it does work, I wouldn't be able to memorise the list like you did. So I just wouldn't. I can barely remember what I had for dinner today. So I would have to...
You had cereal.
That's breakfast.
I wasn't.
Okay, that was tea. What did I have for dinner? It was jack and potato. Yeah.
At dinner time, I had cereal.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to remember it. So I'd have to carry a pad around with me. I wouldn't be able to use the pen thing because my eyes are so bad. So I'll have to use a pad and just to do this trick. No. I think it's good. I think it's a clever method. I just think that a combination of the fact that it's written in Japanese and the fact that that it's a little bit convoluted, I'm just not going to do it. It's typical Tenyo. It's very, very clever. It's a wonderful method. It's just not something that I would do. I'm going to give it 60%. What about you?
I'm going to give it 79.
79%?
Yeah.
Okay, 79%. So 79% from Ryland. He's not going to do it. 60% from me. That's Tenyo item number 2. Let's go on to the third one, which is Ryland's favourite. Okay, so next up we have this pass case, this Tenyo pass case. And what we have here is, this reminds me of the Flick wallet that we reviewed a while ago. Can you remember that Flick wallet? It reminds me of a little bit like that. In fact, it reminds me a lot of that. There are differences, however, there are similarities. But in essence, what you have here is you have a switch wallet. So you have a wallet where you can, you open up the wallet and there's a see-through outside. Anything you put onto the see-through outside, when you flick it, it's going to change into something else. That's basically what this is. Now, Ryland did a video for Instagram, didn't you? Where you turned a piece of paper into a £10 note. So we'll have a look at that first of all, so you can see what this looks like. And then after we've had a look at that performance, we'll talk about what we think. Okay, so that change looks sick. When that piece of paper just... Oh my gosh, it looks so good. And what's nice about this is you can have it in your pocket. It's in there. You take it out. You open it up. As soon as you've opened it, you take out the paper, you show it, you can have it examined, you put it back into the wallet, and you flick it, and right in front of their eyes it changes. You can then take out the £10 note, put the wallet away, and they can look at the £10 note. They can't look at the wallet, but I think they'd want to look at the note anyway.
Yeah.
Now, in the instructions, they say that you can change anything into anything. So, for example, you could change a blank card into a selected card. You could make something appear in there. So they suggested having lots of money in there, lots of coins, and you show your wallet and you flick it, and loads of coins just appear inside the wallet. You can make a credit card appear. You can make receipts turn into money. Nice one is you can do a torn and restored card. So you can have a duplicate card in the other side. You can have them pick a card, cut it, tear it up into 4, put the 4 pieces inside, flick it, and it restores. You know, there's a lot of different options in terms of how you do this. And unlike a normal switch wallet, like a Himba wallet, where the switch is done on the offbeat because you're turning it over, and when you open it up, it's switched. With this, the flick is giving you a visual switch. Now, a couple of things that people need to know about this. The first is it uses little elastic bands to do the switch. And when you get it, you have to set it up with the little elastic band. They say in the instructions that's not going to last forever. You've been playing around with this a lot, and it's still working absolutely fine after probably about 100 performances at this point, or 100 attempts, because you've been practicing it a lot. But you do get like 40 or 50 elastic bands. So
Really, that many?
you get a ton. So if it does break, you're going to be able to fix it. And looking at these little bands, I was just
sitting there all day going.
Yeah, and it was just working fine. Looking at the little elastic bands, they look like little black loom bands, so you could probably get replacements anyway if you run out. The only thing that you need to be aware of, the wallet can't be examined. Do you think that's an issue?
Nah.
Don't you?
Nah.
There's not really much space to put anything else in the wallet either, which is why they refer to it as a pass case. It's really just got the ID compartment. There's nothing else to put there. Like I say, it does remind me very, very much of the Flick wallet. But yeah, it's nice. It's good. I really, really like this. You can see on the back they've given you a few suggestions. Change one card into another card. Make money appear. You know, loads of different stuff. I could see myself doing this. This is something I could see myself doing. I love the idea of just making the paper into money. I think that's the one that I would do. Although it's nice that there's lots of other options as well. You can even make a business card appear. You can have a blank card and somebody asks for a business card. You go, oh, I've only got a blank card left. Hang on a minute. And then you make a business card appear. That'd be pretty cool. So you have a self-printing business card right there. I don't know. I'm going to give this, this is my favourite out of all of the new Tenyo stuff. I'm going to give this 98%. I think this is really good. And I think this is unlike a lot of Tenyo stuff that is toy, like very toy, very.
Toy.
As a working pro, I would definitely use this. I carry around it with
100%.
me. Yeah, 98% from me, 100% from Ryland. This is a real good one. Love it. Congratulations, Tenyo. Okay, so the last trick again. There's no. It's the Shaku, something like that. This is again a slightly different one to Tenyo Magic. They actually credit Justin Flom for this, for card artistry, and I can understand why. There are similarities to card artistry if you know the trick that Justin Flom brought out many years ago before he turned to the dark side.
What's that mean?
Doesn't matter. You'll find out one day. Then you'll know card artistry was a classic. I mean, it was an amazing trick at the time. It was done by so many people. This is a version of card artistry. What's nice about this, though, is you can have somebody freely name a card. And they can name any card that they want to. There's no force at all, any one of the 52. And they name a card. And when you've made the picture appear, the card is in the picture. The card that they named is in the picture. Yeah. Now, the way that you've decided to present this is by talking about an ancient Japanese magician who was incredible at finding playing cards, which is an interesting presentation for this. And I want to know your thoughts on this, because you spent quite a while learning this one, so I want to know what you think. He does look grumpy. He's very grumpy. He's a very grumpy magician. He doesn't look very happy that he's found the card. When you were practicing it, you messed it up the first time, and you went, he looks grumpy, and I was like, that's because he hasn't found the correct card. He's got it wrong. But let's have a look at a performance of this. This is Ryland performing The shark. What is it again? The sharaku. Let's go with that. So this is Ryland performing it. Let's have a look at the performance.
Okay, so I've got a pack of cards. Now these cards, they're completely blank except from one card. You see, this one card is going to help us create a piece of art. Now I've got my dad behind the camera. So what my dad's going to do is going to name any card you want.
Any card.
Any card.
Ace of Hearts.
Ace of Hearts. Now I didn't tell you, I've actually got 2 drawings. Now I'm actually going to put that there. We'll put them there. I'm actually going to put that there. Okay.
Okay.
So that one put there. In fact, you know what? We'll turn it around like that. Now, as I said, we're going to try to create a piece of art, okay?
Okay.
So what you're going to watch? We're going to try to create a piece of art here. You ready?
Yeah.
Like this. You see, there's an old Chinese magician who always, whenever he did a trick and he got someone to pick a card, every time he got the card right. Now you can actually see this piece of art actually turns into that Chinese magician. Now what was the card you picked again?
The Ace of Hearts.
The Ace of Hearts. You can actually see that this is, he says, the Ace of Hearts.
Okay, right. So talk to me about this. How difficult is this to do?
How difficult?
Because you got this deck of blank cards, right?
Yeah. I don't actually think it's that difficult.
Don't you?
No.
I think we have to address this.
When you get a good card, it's easy. But when you get a difficult card, like if they choose something more of a higher value, it gets a little bit more complicated.
The other thing is, without giving too much away, the cards are marked on the back, even though they're blank on both sides. They are marked, and the markings are very clever. Me, with my eyes, I couldn't see the marks at all. Did you have a problem with it?
No.
Okay, you have good eyes. I couldn't see the marks at all, and that made it way more difficult for me to be able to do this. Obviously, the deck can't be examined. I mean, it can't even closely be examined. Most of the cards in that deck are gaffed. You're pretending it's a double blank deck of cards, whilst in reality, most of the cards are gaffed. And I do think they're going to want to look at the deck when you've done it, because you've just made this picture appear. I think that the deck is going to be... I think the only way to get around that is to maybe do a trick using the double blank deck, like maybe Point Blank by Greg Wilson. So you've had this double blank deck in play, and then you switch it for this deck in order to then do one more trick. I think that might be the way to go with it. I'm not too sure. But I do think that the deck itself is under suspicion. The other thing is you have to carry a close-up pad around with you. And they give you a very special close-up pad. It needs to be like a silicone back. Anybody who knows card artistry will know that. Most close-up pads, you can flip them around and they've got that surface on the back. But they give you a special pad that's the same on both sides. So you do need to carry a close-up pad around with you. You couldn't just do this on any surface. That's something to take into consideration. And like Ryland said, as you're going through the cards and you're displaying the cards, you're doing something based on the card that they name. And the thing that you do is made easy because the cards are marked on the back. But if you've got terrible eyesight, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult, because then you're going to have to do a lot more memory work and you're going to have to do a lot more counting in your head. Whilst when Ryland did it, he didn't have to do any of that because obviously the cards were marked. Yeah. Is there anything else to say about this? It is a nice revelation at the end where, you know, the last 2 cards that come down that complete the picture is actually the selected card. That's quite cool.
Maybe that's why they put that corner piece on.
I think it probably is, you know, right.
So the last 2 cards are the 7 of diamonds or whatever the card is.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. It would also be nice if it was a picture that was maybe a little bit more known by people in the Western audience, but
maybe the Mona Lisa.
Something, yeah. That is
Speaks.
The Mona Lisa is to magicians what Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt is to mentalists. You know, it seems that every force is of Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. Everybody ends up with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt when they're forcing a celebrity.
Everybody ends up with the Mona Lisa.
Or
maybe they should do it with Scream.
Scream?
You know Scream.
What, you mean the film? Oh, the... I was about to say, you haven't seen Scream.
No? What is that?
It's too old for you. You've got to be 18 to watch Scream.
Oh.
It's about this guy called Ghostface. And he kills people with a knife.
That's like playing Among Us.
Huh?
That's like playing Among Us.
Now I
Supposed to go,
now I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's a game Among Us when
oh,
the imposter gets you, you go, ooh, 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 ooh.
Really?
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's a bit like Scream.
And then,
He's
8,
dead.
4.
Fair enough. Yeah, look, you're going to need table space. You need a special pad to take around with you. You need a special deck of cards that cannot be examined in any way. I would say the best use for this would be if you were doing a parlour show.
Yeah.
And you had like a small group of, say, 15, 20, 25 people. Because the other thing is, unless you're doing a Jamie Allen and you've got like projection onto a screen, this isn't going to be seen on a stage. So unless you had the pad on a kind of an inclined sort of close-up pad that was at a 45-degree angle, and we're getting too complicated now. I think this is the best use for this is in a parlour show for, say, 20, 25, 30 people as kind of a closing effect. I think that it's a nice idea. Again, it's another one that I wouldn't do. I do a lot of parlour shows, but there's no way anything in my parlour act will get taken out to put this in. It's good, but I think it's going to go into a lot of people's bottom drawers. It's going to get 50% from me. I think it's
50% for me.
50% from Ryan and 50% from me. I don't think if you buy this, you're going to use it. Unless you are, like a hobbyist magician, you have the pad on your table, Christmas Day, or, when you have your friends come round, you have the deck of cards and somebody says, show you a trick, and you do this wonderful little painting routine, then that might be the way to go with this. But I don't see a lot of people doing it. 50% from me, 50% from Ryland.
There's another research in the bag. There's another research in the bag. There's another research in the
Don't,
bag.
please. Oh, thank you. I thought you were going to hurt me again. That is another review show in the bag. Just hit me with a candy game. That is another review show in the bag. Thank you once again for joining us right here on
Magic TV.
Don't forget, you can. We're going to be back every single day this week with more festive videos. And as I said at the very beginning of the video, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yep.
And if you haven't already done so, please go ahead and join the Netrix. It's www.thenetrix.com. That's www.thenetrix.cookies, whatever. You can go check it out and see what the fuss is about. And I will be back again with another video tomorrow. Ryland and I will be back with another video next week. But thank you for watching. I'm Craig.
I'm Ryland.
We'll see you again. Take care. Bye, everyone. What are you doing?